Hey everyone, this is Andre Owens. I'm here with my partners on a exciting Kickstarter we're bringing to you called Hollywood Afenders. To the top of me up here is David Lyle Johnson. To the bottom of me down here is the artist Doc Bastard. You guys want to introduce yourselves? No, no one, no, no
David,
one
you
says it?
go first.
Okay. Like I
Uh,
said, well,
yeah.
I'm Andre Owens, and I'm the host of this show. It's a comic book hobo network, and this I think we're calling it Cosmic Mutiny at this moment, but sure the name will change a million times. But we're here to talk about the Kickstarter for Hollywood Afenders. And Hollywood Afenders is a book that both me and David came up with during the wilds of the pandemic. You know, we were living together, we were coming up with all kind of different ideas, and one of them was this Hollywood Afenders, and it stuck. And people wonder about the name just in general before we give you any more details. But the name Offenders comes from my childhood. Like I know a lot of other comic book creators and writers have wrote things as children and whatnot, and have used them as inspiration for other adventures. And well, mine was this thing I called the Offenders. They weren't quite the Avengers, they weren't quite the Defenders, but they were the Offenders. And when David and I were sitting around just coming up with ideas, that one just kind of stayed with us. We threw Hollywood in front of it, and that's where we are right now. So David, go ahead, David. Tell me a little bit about yourself and what's going on.
So my background is in screenwriting and filmmaking. I directed a film about like 14 years ago almost, called In My Pocket. And since then I've been just doing a lot of writing. And like Andre was saying, we came up with this idea, and it just really felt like great as a either like an animated series or as a comic book. We're like, what can we really do to make this happen like quickly? And comic book was it seemed like the right way to go. It was like it felt like a great avenue to get the story out there.
And Doc Bastard, where did you get your doctorate at?
I got it from country.
That's what I thought. Country. It's a very nice place you're from.
Yes, the country. It's between here and none of your goddamn business.
Understandable. Where did you get your artwork education from?
Back in country, I used to work in comic book factory house under the dictatorship of Eisner and B. Kane.
I understand. Very good.
I used to work in the assembly line where we will all be handcuffed to assembly tables, and we will draw for many hours. And sometimes during the mad dictatorships of Eisner and B. Kane, under like cocaine field power-ups, they will tend to at times beat us with table leg that they found from from family house. So we will work at comic book factory house for many hours. We will not see the outside for many days. And yes, I was taught there under the tutelage of B. Kane and Eisner and various other artists, creator people.
Very nice, very nice. I'm glad to hear that. So I'll just give you a little bit about Hollywood Afenders. So Hollywood Afenders is this mystical or fantasy. I can't even say farce. Absurdist comic, and it's basically about Hollywood Boulevard as if it was divided into 7 kingdoms in the time in the past. And at one point there was this giant battle for Hollywood Boulevard that was ended, and all the kingdoms came to peace. But every kingdom, from the celebrity impersonators to the parking lot attendants, got their own section of Hollywood Boulevard. And we're introduced to the story where this has happened in the past, and now we're dealing with a threat to Hollywood Boulevard that 5 costumed impersonators must get together to fight. What it is this: there's this eternal child star named Johnny Tommy. And he was born supposedly with the first reels of celluloid. He came out a full-born 12-year-old boy. And ever since then, since the late 19th century, he's been making these movies called Little Colt versus, say, the FBI, or Little Colt meets Frankenstein. Just hundreds and hundreds of Little Colt movies over the last 120, 130 years. But the problem for Little Colt now, or Johnny Tommy, is that celluloid is coming to an end. Everything's digital now. So his powers as the child of celluloid are waning. So Johnny Tommy's come up with a new plan to make a film of his own that's going to be shot, on 70 millimeter film, and he's gonna crowdfund it by robbing the citizens and the tourists of Hollywood Boulevard blind. So that's where it is. David, you want to tell us about maybe the offenders, the characters, who they all are, the 5 members?
So yeah, so we've got our kind of de facto leader, the accidental furry Deborah Ann Choi. She moved to Hollywood to be an actor, like the majority of people do, and she moved from like a real small town, Olive Branch, Mississippi, I think. And her parents owned a restaurant there and had made her dress up as a chicken to promote the restaurant when she lived there. She took the chicken outfit with her to Hollywood for whatever reason, and now she's using it to collect tips outside of the marijuana store that she works at, spends most of her paychecks at. So she's doing this to get some extra money. And our other members we have Del Thursday, Philadelphia Del Thursday. He's an Uber driver on the Boulevard, and his daughter's hero is Major Universe, and so he to try and kind of impress his daughter, because she doesn't really see him. She just said everything's about Major Universe. He dresses up as Major Universe on the Boulevard, and we've got Madonna Janelle Mason. She's probably one of the longest running people on the block. She's kind of like the mother of everybody who's there, and she's been doing it as long as Madonna's been singing. So she's been impersonating her. We've got Crazy Marilyn, or Norma Jean, who is the love child of the supposed love child of Marilyn Monroe, JFK. And she's like the wild card. She just like show up in random spots and disappear just as quickly. And then we've got a Michael Jackson impersonator who like nobody knows what his real name is. He doesn't even know what his real name is. He is supposedly he's a clone of Michael Jackson. We really don't know if that's true. But he's also like, with all the scandals going on with Michael Jackson, he gets called out a lot on the Boulevard and everything. So he tends to dress as other things, not, like he'll dress as Peter Pan, but he's still obviously Michael Jackson. He's still got his like diamond glove, his shoes and all that, and he still dances like Michael Jackson, but dressed as like, Robin Hood or like, the Predator or something like that. That's,
Yeah.
So those are the 5 major players in the Hollywood Afenders, and they, like Andre was saying, they joined together when they noticed that people are getting pickpocketed all over the Boulevard, and it's giving their other costume impersonators a bad name. So the only way that they can save their livelihood is to figure out who's doing it and put a stop to it, and that's where Johnny Tommy, aka Little Colt, comes in.
Yeah, and Alan, can you tell us a little bit about Doc Bastard? Can you tell us a little bit about what it was like to design these characters? Are you there, Doc? Are you there? Doc,
Oh, I'm here. Who is this Alan you speak of?
I think it's some weird guy that came to my door just now.
Some guy.
It's some weirdo, septuagenarian guy. I have no idea. But so anyway, Doc, can you give us a little ideas of how you went about designing these characters for the comic?
After doing a lot of drugs that is very easily available outside of my home, I was in a deep art coma. This is one of the methods that we use in a comic book factory house over back in country. There will be times when Eisner will be yelling at us with broken table leg in hand and whip in other, and he will say, "We draw comics faster, create characters faster, or I will beat you to death." And with the fear deep inside us and the handcuffs still on our, handcuffed to assembly table line, we will have to create many of the characters that was very beloved in our country. I utilize a similar method without such extreme measures to create characters that you have sent me paper for. You're like, please make this, and I basically did what you told me. That's what job is.
Wonderful. It's good to hear.
Yes.
You have any other thoughts on that, Doc?
Other thoughts on what?
On design, Doc, on design. Not your abuse that you took.
Yeah, abuse. So many fun memories. No, the design, it was like if I had to like you know, time dance back into the 1980s, you know, back into the, you know, the time of Reagan. I don't know, your Reagan and my Reagan are two different kinds of Reagans, but I remember the Reagans that you have, you know, brought country to knees and then made it had to suck it often. So I had to, like, you know, try to revisit us, you know, collective society of America sucking off Reagan, or, you know, following in footsteps of his wife. Blowjob master.
Is this like a patented method, or is this just like on the fly?
What is this?
Is this a patented method, or is this just on the fly?
With enough cocaine, anything is patented.
Yes, yes, and Nancy Reagan has proved her abilities over the years. Well, anyway, gentlemen, thanks for coming back to the show and talking to us about Hollywood Afenders. We may be back to you guys sometime soon with another video. And until then, this is Andre Owens with David Lyle Johnson and friggin' Doc Bastard down below. Good to see you guys. Take care.